Exciting, pioneering, dangerous. Words used to describe British comedy's original bad boys, Peter Cook and Dudley Moore. They were pushing at humour's boundaries from the moment they burst onto the scene in the 1960s. Peter Cook was then widely considered the funniest man alive. Moore was, for a time, Hollywood's unlikeliest sex symbol. As part of the legendary Beyond the Fringe group, along with Jonathan Miller and Alan Bennett, they were leading lights in the satirical movement, setting their sights on politics, royalty, and the class system. They then paired off together on television with Not Only But Also, and on stage with hit shows like Behind the Fridge. We'll start with a glimpse of them after one performance and a taste of the spontaneous way they always bounced off each other.
Overture is about to start. You cross your fingers and hold your heart. It's curtain time and away we go. Another opening of another show. Another opening, another show.
What do you think of the show tonight?
I thought it was okay. I thought the tiny one was a little pushy.
Well, the little chap.
Yes.
He was a bit sort of, I don't know, seen him mug a lot.
Yes. He goes over the top quite a lot.
Goes over the top.
Yes.
And I enjoyed the bit when that, you know, that thing comes down. What's it called?
The thing?
The curtain.
Yes, I like that.
I thought it was tremendously well done.
Yes.
And it came down on cue.
Yes.
And one had a chance to get out and...
get out of the classy theatre.
Yes, I thought that was nice.
Yes, I enjoyed that. I quite...
I thought in a way it was rather like a fine wine, you know.
Yes.
It didn't travel.
No.
Do you travel much?
Seldom.
Seldom, yes. It's best to stay in the same place for about a year.
Who are you, by the way?
You met me about a second ago.
That's right.
I'm that chap you met about a second
That's
ago.
That's right, yes, yes, silly of me.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, very nice to see you, and...
well, good luck with the thing.
Yes, and I hope everything...
yes, it will.
Is she still...
She's a little... As you can imagine, she had one of the...
Well, I understand, but
and,
mine was having some...
Yes, well, Henry, you know, he had one of his...
Did he?
Yes.
Twice?
Yes. Anyway, awfully nice.
Nice to see you, and I'll be seeing you, well, in about a second.
Cook and Moore revelled in the ridiculous. They enjoyed nothing more than cracking up at each other's jokes, and created in their Pete and Dud personas one of the funniest double acts ever seen on television. Here's a little glimpse of Dudley appearing as Dud and others on the BBC Two review programme Late Night Lineup, introduced by Joan Bakewell.
And now, Not Only But Also. When this series originally opened, it received rather mixed reviews from the television critics of the national press, but by the time the series ended, this had changed to national acclaim. Well, in view of the fact, the attention that this programme has commanded, we've invited several critics along tonight to talk about it. Here they are, introduced by Dudley Moore.
Good evening. Tonight we have a discussion of the programme Not Only But Also, and with me in the studio to discuss the programme we have critic Lyndon Probes. Good evening. And joining him, two newcomers to Late Night Lineup. First, the sweetheart of Drury Lane and the star of many musical comedy hits of yesteryear, such as My Ukulele Dreamboat and Sweet Jamie O'Casey, Miss Deirdre Flank.
That's going back quite a bit, isn't it? Good evening.
Secondly, someone who is directly connected with the programme every week, Dud.
Oh, sorry. Good evening.
I'd like to start the ball rolling with a question to Lyndon Probes. Lyndon, do you think there's a danger that this kind of programme might give birth to a lot of second-rate imitations and thus contaminate television viewing for people?
Well, I think the damage has been done already, hasn't it, really? I mean, if people can't think of anything more original than doing sketches and having musical items, then I'm very sorry for them. I mean, we have seen it all before, haven't we? Mind you, the stars of this show, Peter Cook and Dudley Moore, are frightfully young. I mean, they probably haven't seen very much of life. Perhaps with a little more experience of people and the real earthiness of life, and life as it's really lived, this crude clay of modern living, then perhaps they'll produce something more compelling and pertinent for us.
Thank you very much, Lyndon. Miss Flank, or Deirdre, if I can call you that. You were the toast of the West End some 30 years ago, weren't you? Before Cook and Moore were born. What do you think of the mixture, this new mixture of satire and whimsy that people term the new comedy?
Well, it seems to me that the new comedy merely consists of saying filthy words like B-L-O-O-D-Y. And you especially seem to favour that word more than it deserves.
Bloody souls.
A year after that appearance, Late Night Lineup was celebrating its 1000th episode. To mark the occasion, the programme came live from Soho and let Cook and Moore take the proceedings over completely.
Who would have thought 1,000 years ago that we would be sitting here today on the millionth anniversary of Late Night Lineup, or LNMRSNUP, as it's known to intimates and sophisticates all over the world.
I don't know, who would have thought, Pete?
That was a rhetorical question, Dad. It wasn't actually seriously concerned with the individuality of the person who'd have thought it.
I see.
And anyone who spends his time thinking up who two stupid people sit at a table in 1,000 years' time would be doing, must be out of their mind.
Yeah.
But actually, I think we must proffer a heartfelt congratulations to Mr. David Attenborough here.
Bless his heart.
Bless his heart.
Bless his cotton socks.
Who moved on from the heady world of making wonderful documentary films about the mating habits of Almond and Michaela Dennis to pioneer a system of television unrivaled throughout the whole human world, not to mention Anne's.
I'm looking forward, actually, to this colour change business.
What, the advent?
No, the colour change on BBC.
The advent of colour television on BBC Two.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Bringing as it does, I mean, in the past we have had to sit through grey, dismal programmes in black and white.
Now we can watch dismal red and blue and green.
I wouldn't say that.
No, wouldn't you? No, I said it, so there's no reason why you should.
No reason at all.
There we saw Pete and Dud working very much together, but they were equally well known for the individual performances that were part of their shows. Dudley was one of the most gifted pianists of his generation, renowned for frenzied performances of the classics, delivered with his own comic twist. Peter's solo routines tended to be more low-key. One of his most popular characters was the famously dull E.L. Whisty, who came up in this Parkinson show featuring the entire cast of Beyond the Fringe.
Where do you get your material from? Do you actually sort of pick up bits of what people say, or is it right from the top of your head? I mean,
not very much. I don't pick up from what people say. There happens to be one number in the show which actually is based on somebody I knew, who was a don at Cambridge, who was very bored with his life as a don, in that he was delivering the same lecture every day. And it was the same lecture, and I realised very quickly when I went to Cambridge that I didn't need to go to lectures. All I had to do was buy the book and read it, you know. So that is based on real life, but on the whole, things come from inside me when I'm writing.
What about E.L. Whisty? Where did
E.L. Whisty, he came from nowhere. I've never met anybody like him. I trust I never do.
He's coming up now,
He came from inside me. Is he coming up now?
Yes, we've got his hat and his coat.
Hat and coat. Oh, blimey. The original E.L. Whisty. Oh, good evening. Yes, I could have been a judge, but I never had the Latin. I never had the Latin for the judging. I just never had sufficient of it to get through the rigorous judging exams. They're noted for their rigour. People come staggering out saying, "My God, what a rigorous exam." And so I became a miner instead.
coal miner. I managed to get through the mining exams. They're not very rigorous. They only ask you one question. They say, "Who are you?" And I got 75% on that. Of course, it's quite interesting getting hold of lumps of coal all day. It's a very interesting job. The trouble with it is the people. I'm not saying you get a load of riffraff down the mine. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying we had a load of the riffraff down my mine. Very boring conversation. Extremely boring. All they could talk about is about what goes on in the mine. I mean, it was very boring. If you were searching for a word to describe the conversations that go on down the mine, boring would spring to your lips. Oh, they're very boring indeed. If ever you want to hear things like, "Hello, I found a bit of coal." "Have you really?" "Yes, there's no doubt about it. This black substance is coal, all right. Jolly good, the very thing we're looking for." It's not enough to keep the mind alive, is it? Whoops! Did you notice that I suddenly said, "Whoops"? I suddenly said, "Whoops"? It's an impediment I got from being down the mine. One day I was walking along in the dark when I came across the body of a dead pit pony. "Whoops!" I went, in surprise. And ever since then I've been going, "Whoops!" And that's another reason why I couldn't be a judge, because I might have been up there all regal, you know, in my robes, sentencing away, and I could be saying to Ron and Reggie, I could be saying, "I sentence you to Ron and Reggie to whoops!" And you see, the trouble is that under English law, that would have to stand. So all in all, I'd rather have been a judge than a miner. What's more, being a miner, as soon as you're too old and tired and sick and stupid to do your job properly, you have to retire. Well, the very opposite applies with judges. So all in all, I would rather have been a judge than a miner. Good night.
Still seem to make each other laugh, actually, I suppose. So, did you, when you worked together, was there any problem of corpsing and giggling and this sort of thing?
All the time. All the time.
Worst at the end, worst in America.
Yes, it got worse and worse and worse. I mean, there were moments when the show simply didn't go on because one or other of us had done something which the audience didn't know about. Which, had they known about, trouble would have broken out. And
Dudley used to stand in the wings when you were doing a sketch, and so you then have to direct the sketch to the other side of the stage, and you suddenly notice he was actually stood on the other side. So, I mean, it was totally...
There's one dreadful moment. I don't know if Jonathan has ever forgiven me, but his first baby was born in America while we were on tour. And Jonathan and Alan were doing a sketch about philosophy. They're two philosophy people. And in the middle of it, I came on with Jonathan's newborn baby. And I said, "Excuse me, sir, the wife has just delivered this, sir. What should I do with it?" And as far as I remember, he said, "Just put it in the fridge, would you?"
Whenever Pete and Dud appeared on a chat show, there was little you could predict, apart from laughter. Here's a typical appearance, again from a Parkinson show. This time, they found themselves sitting alongside the boxer John Conte, and the conversation kicks off with a question about Dudley's croaky voice.
Oh, my voice, yes. I sound a bit like Aldo Ray at the moment. But I caught the flu in New York, or was it Flo? And my voice has gone all peculiar.
There's not much left for you otherwise. No, I shouldn't have said that, Dad. No, I'll take that back. No, he's in terrific shape, isn't he?
Yes, he is. Which part of him's in terrific shape?
Oh, Michael, you've been provocative.
No,
Don't be cruel.
But not with you two. I mean, you outnumber me, I think. Let me ask you, were you bullied at school?
Yes, I was, Michael. It's a very sore point with me. I must go to the doctor. I don't think it was the actual business of being small that meant I got bullied, although it helped. But there was a bloke called J.W. Smith, and I remember the only time I put boxing gloves on was with J.W. Smith, and if you're alive, I won't hit you. And he punished me severely, and I thought I was going to beat the living daylights out of him. No, I was just set up as one of the bullied people, and it's very uncomfortable, really. But I think it's a traditional route for most comedians to go, is to they all get bullied.
Yes, I was bullied very severely. I was given up for dead. They brought all the specialists in, and I was buried, in fact. I suffered very, 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 very badly at school, Michael, and I'm sorry you brought it up.
Yeah, I'm sorry, because he's going a bit over the top.
It's not a happy time during my life.
What?
Not a happy time at all.
It wasn't.
No, I was undisputed light heavyweight, coward of... There was no contest at all. I wasn't beaten up much, though.
Did you have various ways of avoiding being bullied? I mean, did you cringe? Were you
hiding in drawers?
Hiding in drawers?
He still does that.
Hopefully.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I remember at the age of 13...
Coughing.
Coughing is good, because people keep away because they see all this stuff coming out of your gut. And, of course, they stay away, don't they? Well, there are, of course, some perverts who love... they say, cough all over me, will you? Yeah. And I've met a few of those. No, seriously, Michael, after all, this is a serious programme. Someone's blowing their nose in the audience very loudly. Please. I started fooling around in class, and that seemed to be the only way to stop it, Sort of neutralise yourself and become a plaything of the other people. And then they don't feel threatened by you. It's a constant frustration not to be able to go up to somebody and say, listen, any trouble? I'll tear your nose off.
Is that a fantasy of yours?
Oh, I have terrible fantasies of my worst enemies. I still, like impaling them on railings and reaching down into their mouths and pulling out their spleens and tying it round their neck and then pulling out the eyes perhaps one by one. I have super times thinking about all that sort of thing.
Do you have similar fantasies?
No, I love everybody.
Yeah.
The world is my kingdom, and the world loves me, and I love the world. I don't have an enemy in the world.
You have an enemy around again, though, don't you?
I have to have that because of...
He's his own worst enemy,
No, take into account the war service that I did.
Oh, I do. I take that into account.
Yes, because during those troubled times, and let's face it, there were troubled times.
Oh, troubled, weren't they?
Especially
when the war was on, when we
looked like losing.
Oh, I thought we'd had it.
I thought we'd had it.
When that bus bomb came across Burnside Road, I thought this is it.
It was.
I thought this is it, and it was.
Beyond television, Cook and Moore also ventured into the world of cinema. The 60s saw them starring in Bedazzled, and in the 70s they delivered their own take on the world of Sherlock Holmes with The Hound of the Baskervilles. Here they are, interviewed on location for the programme Film 78.
This version of Sherlock Holmes, as portrayed by me, guided by the spirit voice of Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, God rest his soul, is sort of more authentic than the previous very good versions done by Basil Rathbone, for example. Now, Basil Rathbone was very good and not very good, he was excellent, but he wasn't true to the spirit of Conan Doyle. I hope this is true to the spirit of Conan Doyle.
I couldn't play Watson, of course, like Nigel Bruce.
You're not as good?
Not as good. He's got the corner on that, you see. So I thought I'd have to...
play it like Bruce Nigel,
right,
who's not been heard of much,
and he's much younger. And so I play him a little differently.
Are you there, Mr. Terry Marcellata? Give 1 knock for yes, 2 knocks for no.
Dudley is, at present, made up as my mother.
Yes, she's into spiritualism. She's a psychic.
She's a sidekick, actually.
Yes. She has a great many views on what should be done in the story.
Oh, spirits, show us you are amongst us. Raise up, O table. You're really here! Raise up, O table, make your presence felt! Raise up, O table! Oh.
Dudley symbolises the Victorian period as Mrs. Holmes.
Oh, yes, I think this is the...
People walk out of the cinema saying that was the Victorian period if ever I saw one.
It's the definitive Victorian film.
Yes.
Yes.
Holmes in this movie does have the natural urges of any male. And, thank you, darling. And he does visit a Victorian equivalent of the modern massage parlour.
Yes.
Apart from that?
Apart from that, well...
we haven't departed from the original story.
I think there's always going to be an interest in the characters. They're sort of, you know, really like Hamlet and Cressida, aren't they? And Coriolanus and Des O'Connor, you know.
I'd hate to think that this movie was made with the sole purpose of getting millions and millions of people to see it and stick money down. And
oh, yeah, that'd be dreadful, wouldn't it?
It's awful. It'd be dreadful if we ended up being millionaires and having to join Michael Caine.
Yeah, that'd be dreadful, wouldn't it?
I'd rather be in a garret
than
stuck with Michael Caine in Hollywood, the Hollywood crowd.
Right.
Riff-raff. Bloody Ian Lafreniere, Dick Clement, playing cricket on their swimming
playing
pools.
Football with Raquel Welch.
Pathetic.
And
I'd rather be in a Kazi in Dagenham
than
sell my soul to some producer who says, here's £15 million. You know what my straight answer to him would be.
Yes.
That's exactly it. Yes.
In the end, the film didn't set Hollywood alight, but a few years later, Dudley would, with roles in films like 10 and Arthur. But despite solo international stardom, the relationship with Peter remained intact. Here are the pair of them in 1990 on The Wogan Show, talking about one of their classic Pete and Dud sketches.
My favourite sketch, and I think maybe Peter's, is one that we did when we were Dud and Pete, these two Cockney characters, in an art gallery. And we were
talking about this, that and the other.
Talking about this, that and the other, which we mainly did most weeks. And I love the feeling of that one, the intimacy and which we've never been able to achieve in our real lives, of course.
No, don't laugh.
Are you all right, Terry?
Don't laugh when you say that, because it's sad, isn't it? That
well, the only time Dudley and I have ever met has been on television. Well, I've never seen him. He looks very nice on telly.
He looks all right. Yeah.
Wait a minute, I was going to cue in a piece of what we call VT.
Yeah, oh, well.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
well, you know, we...
You know, Pete, I reckon there's a lot of rubbish in this gallery, you know.
Here?
Yeah.
Well, not only rubbish, Dad, there's a lot of muck about.
Yeah.
I've been looking all over the place for something good.
Yeah.
I've been looking for that lovely green gypsy lady. You know, the one what Percy Corey done? With a lovely shining skin. Where is she? Nowhere.
Nowhere. So I went up to the manager. I said, I got him by the collar. I said, here.
Yeah?
I said, here.
Threatened with him. You didn't spit sandwich at him, did you?
Sorry, Pete.
Blimey.
I'm sorry about that. No, I said, here.
Yeah, you'll do it again if you're not careful.
I said, where...
Come on, what do you say, Dad?
I said, where's that bloody Chinese flying horse then?
What did you say?
He said, get out.
Very nice.
Not a sandwich.
Well, you met 20, well, hundreds of years ago.
Right, it's hundreds of years. It's about 500-600 years ago.
Young undergrads.
Yeah, oh, yes.
Did you hit it off immediately?
Well, we weren't undergrads. Well, we were we? I was in my last year at Oxford.
No, we met rather uneasily in a restaurant. We all looked at each other. This is beyond the fringe.
It's Alan Bennett,
Jonathan Miller, and Dudley, and we all sat down and peered at each other and didn't really know
what
to do.
Did you like the cut of his jib then? Were you attracted
I
to him?
thought he was a frightfully attractive young man.
Yes, oh.
You see, I was at Cambridge, and I thought, well, this looks somebody who's fairly easy to get on with.
Yes.
And we went off into the night.
Did you?
Yes.
And I
came
bet
back
you
to rehearse the next day.
I bet you took a smack to him as well.
Oh, I certainly did. I thought here's an upper-class geek, if ever I saw one. And straight down from the Foreign Office. And, yes, we got on very well. I mean, he actually, Peter was very easy to get on with. And I think of all of us, he was the most urbane and sort of calm in those days. Of course, things have changed. He's a whirling dervish now.
Yeah. Do you think he's gone to the bad?
Is he gone to the bad? No more than anybody else has.
Yeah.
No more than you have, Terry.
Yeah, you don't think Dudley hasn't improved much either, have you?
I think Dudley has improved. Oh, yes, a great deal. You should have seen him 25 years ago.
The years have been kind to him, haven't they?
Certainly.
Considering
by the second.
Considering the life he's led.
Mm.
Yeah, well, it's been a bit outre. It's been a bit, you know. But I've survived. Yes, I took the blows.
You gave the shows.
I did it my way. Hello, sailor.
We'll end now in the same way that Peter and Dudley ended their shows. At the piano, in perfect harmony, singing their always aptly titled song, Goodbye.
Now it's time to say goodbye. Goodbye. Now's the time to yield a sigh.
Oh, yield that groovy sigh, baby.
Now's the time to win. Until we meet again.
Not going well.
Some sun it is. It's going wonderfully.
Goodbye, goodbye. We're leaving you, Scooby-Doo. Goodbye.
We wish you fun. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Goodbye. We're leaving you, Scooby-Doo. Goodbye. We wish you fun. Goodbye. La 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 la
Feeling all right, Mother? Thank you. I'm feeling terribly well indeed. Ebony.
He wears good black trousers. And what do you think of that?